What I value most with my coaching with Sally is that when our meetings would start, I knew that I could speak freely and openly, and that whatever I said was confidential. Not that my conversations were critical necessarily, but sometimes you have questions, and for her, she was able to help me clear my mind. If I explained something to her, the nice thing too was that she knew other coworkers that I might be referring to, or trying to figure out how to interact better with. And she had that point of reference, so she could share information, limited, but she could get a perspective that might help redirect me back to where I really wanted to go. When I did talk to her about things, that it helped, what she would say back to me would help validate my experience. So if maybe I wasn't feeling heard, she could kind of give it back to me and say, but maybe that is actually how it's working out. It never was it scripted, never was there a list of questions for me. I just felt like I could go in and just do everything out. And then she would kind of bring it around, and she would, kind of say it back to me. Sometimes even just me hearing myself say it. And then she'd go, really? And she kind of, is this what you mean? She would rephrase it maybe. Her listening skills are amazing. Well, I haven't worked with a coach or a contractor in this regard before. I've done a lot of self-help myself. So I think when I got the opportunity to work with Sally, it isn't like I could compare her to someone else, but what I thought it might be to work with someone like her as a coach, it was exactly what I'd hoped for. She always does a follow-up, exactly right after your meeting. She might give you back something that we talked about, something maybe to work on, or something we agreed to, like a next step for me to go talk to somebody about something I might have had a question about or was trying to work through. And she would remind you back, I kept all of her emails because every bit of it was a learning aspect for me. I think just the way that she sends it back to you and says, have you thought of it this way? Or rephrases it. Just, she kind of assures you that you're not crazy. I don't know, that's kind of maybe a weird to say, but she makes you feel okay with your feelings, and that you're not alone, and that there is a path through, maybe around sometimes, but you can get through it. So when we do what's called Clifton Strengths. So it's a long questionnaire that comes up with your 5 strengths. It was cool because you have this whole breakdown of everyone's strengths, and you could go and kind of look at, how does this person view the world? How are they driven on a daily basis? So I think that it gave me another perspective into the people I work with in the larger department, and kind of oh, okay, well, that makes sense how they communicate now. That makes sense how they don't communicate now, maybe. How would it be easier for me to work with them? And then also, what are our similarities? So she could break it down and kind of give it back to you so you could understand it. I mean, you can read what's in the book or what's on paper, and it's, it's maybe like a paragraph, but then she could break it down and maybe make it clearer, so you could actually ask her questions about it too, clear it up. So I think just overall, it helped you gain a better perspective on the people you work with, and then also to yourself, because then she could break down yours and say, is this where you're coming from? And, she totally got it every single time. Like I had mentioned before, I've done a lot of self-help on my own, or, looking into how I can make myself better when I bring myself to a situation. And I think Sally validated that for me. I'm going in the right direction. She could say things, and right away I knew what she was talking about. It was like being on the same plane with somebody. She just kind of put the puzzle, pieced it together, so it made sense. So even though I might have had that thought out here and learned something that I read in a book or listened to on a podcast, she was right in front of me, and she kind of just put it all together and made sense of it for me. I mean, I would really love to have her as a coach after, honestly. She just gets it. She gets me. I'm sure she's that way with everybody. That's just her skill or her talent. But yeah, she just was really easy to work with, for sure.